Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this very exciting and timely conference entitled The Collective Advantage, Investment and Tourism in Kigali, Rwanda, Advancing Economic and Financial Inclusion Through Co-Ownership. My name is Lele Balde, and I'm very honored to moderate this event hosted by City Square Africa. If I could ask all of the panelists to please kindly put their videos on, that would be fantastic. Welcome to all of our participants joining us from all around the world, because today we're diving into bold ideas and practical models for shared ownership, inclusive tourism, and investment-driven development, all within the inspiring context of the city Kigali, Rwanda. As we all know, financial stress causes burnout. And through a survey that was put together by City Square Africa at their event in October entitled Colors of Wellbeing, they realized that the collective approach is a great incentive to alleviate financial stress and reduce burnout. Unfortunately, if one doesn't reduce burnout, a lot of unfortunate things can happen, such as illness, increased stress, cardiovascular issues, and things of that nature. So this collective action is essentially a way to reduce financial stress and go at it in a collective manner. There's a very popular African proverb that I'm sure we're all familiar with. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So let's go together. Kigali is one of the fastest growing cities, not only in Africa, but all around the world. It's one of the cleanest, one of the best planned cities that you can ever visit. It's essentially a gateway to Rwanda's booming tourism sector and a rising hub for inclusive and sustainable development, as well as investment. A couple of facts about this beautiful city of 1,000 hills, as it's known. It's ranked among Africa's top countries and cities for ease of doing business. I don't know how many of you are aware, but registering a business in Rwanda is one of the easiest in the entire world. It's an online process that is often finalized within 24 hours. It has strong infrastructure, smart city initiatives, and eco-conscious policies. It's a vibrant tourism destination, from guerrilla trekking to global conferences. And it has innovative models to co-ownership that make investment accessible to more people. In my words, I would say Kigali isn't just growing, it's inviting others to grow with it. So which is why this webinar brings together exceptional minds from across the fields of finance, real estate, tourism, and policy. Whether you're an investor, a policymaker, an entrepreneur, a citizen of the diaspora, we're very thrilled to have you here. So before we get started, I would love to ask our participants to kindly introduce themselves in the chat with your name, your city, and your profession. You can also feel free to put in your LinkedIn profile link so that others are able to connect with you and that you can network with other professionals and people in this room. So introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us where you're coming from. So for example, my name is Lele Balde. I am living in Lagos, Nigeria, and I am a media professional. So you could use that same example. So while we do that, I'd love to see where people are joining us from. And I'll just quickly take a look at the chat to see where people are joining us from. I see people from Lagos, from Kigali. You're all welcome. Very happy to have you with us. And also, if you do have questions throughout this webinar, feel free to use the Q&A box for your questions, and we'll address them during the open floor at the end of this webinar. So before we get started with our official opening remarks, I would love to just recognize the presence of our speakers. So when I mention your name, kindly wave, give us a smile. We're really looking forward to hearing from you. So Dr. Uche Nama, who is the CEO and founder of City Square Africa, thank you so very much for being with us. Do give us a wave when you have a chance. All right, maybe he can't hear me, but please wave at us. We also have Dr. Peggy McCall, who is a global mindset and mentor, best-selling author. Lovely to see you. Thanks for being with us. We have Dr. Diane Karusisi, who's the CEO of the Bank of Kigali. Please do give us a wave when you have a chance. Darius Mukiza, who is the head of business development at BK Capital. Very happy to have you with us. Welcome to you. We have Vinay Palaparti, who is the global business leader and founder of MVG Developers. Fantastic to have you with us. Ronald Kabagambe, who is the investment marketing analyst at the Rwanda Development Board. Ronald, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Edson Habineza, who is the Director General of the Rwanda Chamber of Tourism. Thank you for being with us. And last but definitely not least, Irene Murerwa, who is the Chief Tourism Officer at the Rwanda Development Board. So happy to have you all with us and cannot wait to be speaking to all of you today. So without any further ado, to formally open today's session, please welcome Dr. Uche Nama, the visionary founder of City Square Africa, who is leading the movement for economic empowerment through co-ownership in real estate and wellness. Dr. Uche Nama, over to you.
Thank you, Lily, for that fantastic intro. And I'm also very happy to be here with all of you. I will start by thanking everyone here, the esteemed speakers, valued partners, and our highly cherished attendees. You're all welcome to this amazing conference, which speaks to collective advantage, the advantage of investing together. Today, we gather not just as individuals, but as a community united by a common purpose, the pursuit of financial and economic inclusivity through our innovative co-ownership real estate investment model. Your presence here signifies your commitment to exploring a path that can empower not only yourselves, but also the communities we are proud to impact positively. Together, we can develop impactful projects that uplift us all. I'll take a short time to tell a story about City Square. I prefer to introduce City Square with a short story. So City Square Africa is a startup that is currently registered in Nigeria, Delaware, United States, and Rwanda. City Square Africa was bettered during the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, where things all of a sudden changed. And we at City Square as a team had to conduct a research to understand how we can positively impact our community. And the survey we carried out revealed that a lot of people suffered burnout because of financial stress. And recognizing the fact that financial stress leads to burnout, which ultimately fuels a lot of diseases like the cardiovascular diseases, depression, and all, we came up with two major strategies. The first strategy was to find a way for more people, a wider range of people, to be able to invest together and enjoy passive income. So to be able to achieve that, we started democratizing investment opportunities in real estate mainly. What we mean by democratizing is breaking investment opportunities into smaller sums, into smaller investment capital, so that a wider range of people can be able to benefit from the passive income and capital growth, which essentially alleviates your financial stress and empowers you to live a holistic life, which is very important, that we all live a holistic life and enjoy holistic well-being. So in creating this passive income, it's important to also look at how it is legally structured, which is very, very important, so that people can be comfortable to invest in this co-ownership model. Our structuring is very legal and also adheres to all compliance requirements. During this webinar, we will understand in details the structuring of this co-investment model. So for us to be able to make this very legal, we have strategic partners. In Nigeria, we have strategic partners with FBN Quest trustees who act as our custodians. We also have relationship with ARM trustees as the independent trustees, and these, in Kigali, we are currently forming partnerships with Bank of Kigali, BK Capital, and BPR. So these institutions are highly reputable and they bring compliance, they bring legitimacy to the co-ownership model. So to clearly understand the issues, about over 70% of individuals suffer from financial stress, which leads to the burnout, which leads to issues. And going to the theme of today's event, the collective advantage, we would like to first of all give a relatable example of what we're talking about. A typical example will be to build a vacation or a hotel apartment for tourists in Rwanda. And it's going to cost about $2 million. The $2 million will be structured into smaller commercial notes. These commercial notes will now be sold to individual investors who will ultimately earn returns from their investments according to the value of the amount they have invested. So this is typically how it works. It is as simple as that. And the major advantages of this model is shared risk. It's important to share risk. Risk that you have ordinarily taken by yourself by going to invest huge sum of money in a particular property, in a particular location. If you embrace our collective advantage model, the co-ownership model, you will have the opportunity to share your risk and enjoy higher returns and capital growth. Another major advantage of the co-ownership approach is lowered upfront costs. A lot of people have been priced out from a real estate investment because of the huge amount that is involved. So our co-ownership structure reduces the upfront cost. It lowers the barrier of entry to real estate investment, which means we can begin to invest smaller amount of money and also benefit from the high returns and capital growth that is associated to real estate investments. That way, you are building generational wealth for your children and for your next of kin, and also building cash inflow for your retirement, which is very important. And also, this co-ownership model helps you diversify your portfolio and access to different investment opportunities. Why Kigali? a lot of people have asked me the question, why have you chosen Kigali? Kigali came as a result of my meeting. It was a launch meeting with the ambassador, His Excellency, Ambassador Christopher Bazivano, and also some representatives of Rwanda Private Sector Federation. During the launch meeting, we had an extensive discussion on the opportunities of investment and tourism in Rwanda. That put a seed in my mind, and I said, Rwanda has to be visited, because there's a popular saying that says, seeing is believing. So I went on the plane and arrived in Kigali a few weeks after the meeting. During my visit, I took a tour around the various strategic organizations, like the Rwanda Development Board, the one-stop shop, which was very helpful. I gathered a lot of information. I went to the Rwanda Development Board investment marketing, which gave me more insight on how investment is carried out in Rwanda. I also had the opportunity of meeting the CEO of Bank of Kigali, who also gave me the financial and their insights on how to build a business in Kigali. I had a good meeting with Bank of BK Capital, who is going to be the fund managers. And we also had very, very insightful meeting. I had the opportunity of visiting the RSSB, which is the pension fund of Kigali, and the CIO was also very impactful. So I gathered a whole lot of information. And because City Square is at the forefront of creating a platform that fosters co-investment, I said that it will be important that these information will be shared to our community, to a wider range of individuals to also benefit from my findings during my trip in Rwanda. And that's why we have created this webinar, for people to hear firsthand from our partners in Rwanda how the co-investment works and also learn from the benefits. So Rwanda offers a whole lot of benefits to invest in Rwanda. Rwanda is very, very investment friendly. You can register your company within 24 hours. Rwanda also, the economy of Rwanda is quite robust. Average GDP growth rate at 7.1% over the last decade. So investing in Rwanda is, you're guaranteed that your investment will enjoy some growth. Looking at the tourism sector, over 1.3 million tourists and $647 million as revenue from recorded last year. It shows that this economy is truly vibrant. Not just that, the largest airport is under construction in partnership with Qatar Airways. This shows that Rwanda tourism sector is just starting. The sky is the limit. And also, Rwanda is the gateway to East Africa. East Africa has a total of, East Africa has a huge population and a very vibrant economy too. Rwanda still offers fantastic government policies in the area of tax, in the area of profit repatriation, which is very important to investors. A lot of people have asked me, Uche, how do we repatriate our profit? And I said that Rwanda is also considering that, and that's why they are investment friendly, and that profit repatriation won't be a problem. Rwanda has also been recognized for meetings, conferences, exhibitions. So a lot of things are going on in the economy that will drive the economy and make it sustainable for investors. I can go on and on and on, including the infrastructure investment. The government is investing in infrastructure to boost these economic investments. So Rwanda as a destination gives you a whole lot of opportunities. And my call to action is City Square has created a platform which you can join and also be part of these opportunities that will pass you by if you try to do it on your own. And that's why we are creating this platform of co-ownership so that a wider range of people will benefit from this. So a link will be shared in the message for people who are interested to be part of this journey. Thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to having a pleasant day today. Thank you all.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Uchenama, for that very insightful presentation. One would think that you have been to Kigali many more times than just once, but I can tell that you were quite inspired by your visit. Having lived in Rwanda myself for 4 years back in the mid-2000s, I can definitely relate to the inspiration that you felt and the ease of doing business, and just kind of the excitement that there is around Kigali and Rwanda as a country itself. So thank you so very much for that. And just to repeat, anybody interested in joining City Square Africa for a 5-day investment and wellness retreats in Kigali, Rwanda, happening in October, the link will be dropped within the messages for you to be able to sign up. So I'm very excited to recognize and to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Dr. Peggy McCall, who's a global mindset mentor, who is globally recognized as a mindset mentor, a New York Times best-selling author, and the founder of the Power Life script. With over 30 years of experience helping individuals, authors, entrepreneurs, and leaders achieve extraordinary success, Dr. McCall is known for her groundbreaking work in personal development, manifestation, and prosperity mindset. She has worked with audiences in over 100 countries, empowering people to align their goals and realize their highest potential, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. Welcome, Dr. Peggy McCall, and over to you for what I know will be a very insightful keynote address.
Thank you, Layla. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the introduction. Thank you, Dr. Uchi, for having me here today with everyone to share for a few moments on the understanding of the value of mindset. And so it really is an honor to be here. I love what you're doing. I love what this represents, the visionaries, the leaders, the investors, the dreamers who not only explore new economic opportunities because they're always there, but also looking at how you can transform success collectively. And as someone who has spent close to 50 years studying personal development and 30 years in business, I've learned that real transformations occur, whether they're individual or with groups or corporations or cities or countries, really begin with strategy, but they are created with mindset. So mindset is really the foundation of everything. And that's really what I'm going to share with you over the next few minutes. You see, I was raised in a very interesting environment, and maybe some of you can relate to this. And I'm a Canadian. I live in the nation's capital in the city called Ottawa. I was born and raised north of Toronto. But my parents struggled. I mean, we lived in a very poor environment. Our home I went to school in ripped, worn out clothing. I didn't understand what it was like to have prosperity. What I knew and really came to understand it is life is meant to be a struggle, and some people were destined to be successful while others weren't, which is obviously not true. It's definitely not true. But I was very blessed to meet an individual who really helped not only open my mind, but led me down a brand new path, breaking old patterns. You see, we get involved as human beings, we're habitual in nature. So we get involved in patterns of thought, in patterns of emotion, in patterns of action that lead us to more and more devastation, more and more of what we don't want. And that's exactly what I was experiencing in my life. But I made a decision in 1979 to change it. And so I recognized that there was work to be done, and that work involved reprogramming the mind, really literally reprogramming the mind, which is possible. I think about what Layla had said earlier when she shared that African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And it's absolutely true. And I love that you shared that because it's very applicable to what you're presenting today with what this opportunity is, because it is opportunity. But we don't recognize opportunity until and unless we're ready for it. So you really have to be ready for it. You have to open up your mind. You see, in 1979, that's when I met Bob Proctor, and he was a gentleman who has left this earthly plane, but he was someone who was, I believe, on this planet, the best speaker on transformation, on creating success, on mindset. And he said some things the evening that I attended his event, his seminar, that really opened up my mind to possibility. For example, if you want your results to change, you must change. And it's not that there's anything wrong with you. We're all perfect just the way we are. It's just that if you want better results and better returns on your investment, as an example, changing your mind will definitely lead you to that. So I was blessed to have this wonderful mentor that opened my mind to the power that is within every single one of us, the power that's within me, so that you can activate it. We all have that power. And he believed in me, but not just because he believed in me personally. Bob Proctor believed in me because he believes in mankind. He believed in what's our potential is as a human being, no matter where you are, no matter where you live, no matter how you were raised in your life. So his impact shaped the trajectory of my life. So going from this young woman who was literally suicidal to being raised in poverty, to being in experiences of emotional pain and struggle, to really understand who I am, but how we can connect together to raise up our own lives and raise up the world as well. So I believe who you learn from really matters. And why it matters is because you want to learn from people that know how to get the results that you're looking for and then share it with others, because this is really, that's why I love the whole theme of today about collective opportunities. And so if we think about what the opportunity is right now to do the investment as it's being presented here, this can open our opportunity or our minds to a new opportunity, but we have to be ready for it, as I said earlier. So that's mindset. It's like, are you ready to experience, better results in your life? Are you really ready to experience more prosperity in your life? Because to me, this sounds like growth. When I saw the video about the growth in the city of Kigali and just what's gone on there, just, when tourism and the opportunity with real estate, it's like, where is this happening anywhere else in the world? It's like one of the best kept secrets, and as I said, I'm a Canadian, so it's like, well, let's spread the word. Let's spread the word and let other people know about that as well, so that you can change other people's lives and you can help them help others. But what I've really learned after, almost 5 decades of studying these materials is that when people come together, when we all come together collectively, and we align in a new belief, seeing the opportunities that are there with clear intention, good intention, right? Which is only what this is all about. With having that vision, something extraordinary can happen, right? It's like a seed. I mean, Dr. Yuchi had this idea, and look what's happened, and look what's happening as a result of one man, one idea, right? City Square, was created during a time that the world was in a pandemic, a global pandemic. But it's creating this collective force, if you will, that can be more powerful than him. And look at the people that have come together today. And that's what co-ownership can be as well. And that's why it, breaks the barrier to entry, makes it a lot easier to get in. It's a model. It's a model that's proven. It's a model that works. And when it is shared investments, it's also shared energy, positive energy, collective energy, and shared prosperity, because I'm certain that anyone that gets involved in this only has a desire for success, Would I be right on that? Yes, I'm sure I'm right on that. So what you're doing is you're sharing a belief for a better future, not just for Kigali, but for everyone. I mean, here I am, a Canadian who is here, sharing in this. And this is what we're talking about here. It's the power of collective consciousness. When many believe as one, reality responds. And there is enormous power in that. In fact, many years ago, I worked with a client who was in the UK, and she had written a book about this a concept of collective consciousness. And it was called The Intention Experiment. And the idea behind it was getting a number of people, a group of people that were all focused on the same result. Because, like Laylee said earlier, is that, you can go far when you do it together, right? You want to do it together. Why? Because more energy is put on a particular outcome. More people share in the same vision. More people are giving energy to the successful result. So that's really what we're talking about. And what does that provide? Well, it provides an energetic ROI, a return on investment. And that return is when you invest in belief, the belief that it is true, the belief that it is done, you create breakthroughs. And when you invest in faith, the faith in knowing that the outcome is already there, your investment is returned, the collective is returned, then you create the clarity. And when you invest energy, you actually create momentum. And when you invest emotion, you magnetize these opportunities. And when you invest in aligned partnerships, you multiply your prosperity. All ships rise with the tide, right? That's really what this is all about. So you're investing in a shared vision, and the impact ripples beyond anything. What's measurable? Your return of energy is exponential, especially when it's collective. This is more about the financial return on investment. It's about legacy. It's about upliftment. It's about shared elevation. It is good for all, right? It really is good for all. So energetic ROI is what I see when I see what this opportunity is. And it can transform your own outcomes and identities, and you can align together. Why? To create better results for all. And that's what we're here to do. So what's our individual role in all of this? I believe it's to be a vibrational match, a match with the success, aligning your energy, feeling the success. That's what energy is. It's an expression of your emotions, of your feelings, right? Expressing your energy on the outcomes that are desired, not being involved with fear, doubt, or limitation. Think about recessionary times in the world. Think about the Great Depression that happened in the 1930s. Why did these events occur? They occurred because of fear. Who had the fear? It wasn't the land. It wasn't a building. The fear was in the human, right? So you eliminate the fear and you create growth. So you hold the vision, you see the success of the collective as if it's already done. This is what I speak on. This is what I write about. In fact, I have a book I'm releasing in a couple of weeks called The Moment of Alignment. This is my 25th book. And the moment of alignment means to align with your desire as if it's already done. You're choosing faith over fear. It's not that we won't have fear, but you're going to convert that emotion to the opposite end. And that opposite end is faith. So where you create a sense of certainty. And you're a co-creator in all of this as well. So we can all do our part, whatever that may be, whether it's to encourage another, whether it's to invest personally, whether it's to spread the message, whatever that is, we can all help uplift others. And do that through our own energy, strengthening the field of optimism, showing people what's possible. And I feel that's what's really is being conveyed today here in this webinar. And alignment and prosperity. I mean, prosperity is one of my absolute favorite topics. I love talking about helping people create more prosperity in their life, but I don't see it as financial. It's not about the gain. It's about the state of mind that you have, believing that you already are, even when there's no evidence of it in sight. I mean, that's what I've done. I've completely transformed my life in every way. I believe I'm an example of the process of making a decision and disciplining yourself enough to put it into practice every single day, and then celebrate. Right? Celebrate. I actually had the opportunity last evening to drive down to New York, which is the state that's just below the province that I live in another country. But I drove down to have dinner with a baseball player who's looking to play in the major leagues. And I was telling him, I asked him, I said, what is it that you want? And he told me, and I said, well, what does that feel like now that it's there? And he started to describe it. And I said, that's where you reside. That's the energy that you stay in. You stay in the energy of the knowing that this is already a success. And when you do that consistently, not once in a while, but consistently, you absolutely create phenomenal success. So I want to thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. When Dr. Yuchi first reached out to me, I was thinking, why me? And but now that I'm a lot more familiar, I can understand, the relevance and the importance of having the right mindset to create success. But I believe you absolutely have a brilliant opportunity here and one that everyone should definitely pay attention to. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Peggy McCall. What an inspiring story that you have, and thank you for sharing it so freely. I think I'm glad that you said yes to this opportunity, but I think mindset is where everything starts. Having the vision and the mindset to believe that whatever it is that you desire is possible. I think that's where it all starts. So I think I understand why Dr. Uche asked you to be here. I wish we could give you a virtual clap, but everybody, please just put the clap emoji in your reactions, because that was an absolutely amazing keynote address. Thank you so very much, Dr. Peggy McCall, for that. Coming right up, we have another speaker by the name of Vinay Palaparti, who is an exceptional entrepreneur. Freddie Palaparti, also known as Vinay Palaparti, is an exceptional driven entrepreneur who has swiftly carved out a global conglomerate within a remarkably short time frame. Notably, the impressive Capella complex in Bangalore, comprising of over 4,000 housing units, are under construction with over 800 completed. In Rwanda, Freddie's commitment to transformative projects is equally remarkable. Through the MVG developers, he has embarked on the construction of gated housing complexes in Kigali, with completed and ongoing premier private residences nearing completion. Land acquisition is in progress to facilitate huge expansion plans, exemplifying his dedication to providing high-quality residential spaces. So Vinay Palaparti, it's a pleasure to have you with us. As someone who has achieved success in the city of Kigali, we really cannot wait to hear from you. So over to you.
Thank you so much, moderator, for your kind words. I wish I'll be able to live up to some of the expectations. I normally speak straight from my heart, and that's the only way to do it. I'm just going to take a take on what Dr. McCall said. She said, life begins, or anything begins, with a thought and an inspiration. For that, I'm going to thank Uche, Dr. Uche, he reached out to me because he hasn't been totally open with how he reached, and I would like to correct him on a couple of facts with due respect. So he picked up the phone and he got my number from someone from the Ministry of Tourism, just trying to teach you or show people how Rwanda actually works. So this is how it worked. Someone from the Ministry of Tourism reached Nigeria, gave him my number, gave me his number, and I called Uche up and I said, lots of people can go to the internet and can decide to come here. People from all over Africa will talk about it. But if you're serious about Rwanda and if you want to catch it before it flies out of your hand, get on a plane and come. He says, okay, I'll do that. We spoke. He booked his tickets. He came. He came for 5 days originally, spent 10 days. And if not for him and his thought process, I believe life begins with a thought. And his thought, he got onto a plane. He's come there and he just loved it so much. He spent a few more days and he's met with all the right people. Okay, every right person. My job is not to sit here and talk about what little I've done or not done, but it's to get everybody who's here, who's had the honor to be here on this beautiful panel that Uche put together. I see the people from RDB are there. I see people from I don't know if RRA is here, but RDB is the heart of Rwanda, and Uche said that he can get a company registered in 24 hours. You can get a company registered in 3 hours for free, and you'll get 2, 3 multi-currency bank accounts. You apply for your business licenses, it's done online. I got my immigration status within 1 day. It didn't, 1 day. So just a little bit about me. I was born in India, educated there. I've lived in Botswana and sub-Saharan Africa for the last 35 years. Came by chance to Kigali to visit my parents. My parents came to Kigali, and my father says, I want to die here. I said, Dad, live here. Why would you like to die? He says, it's so peaceful. So because of that, I committed to investing $1 million. Then I see Ronald is here on this group. I bumped into him, and the ex-CIO said, if you apply for over $10 million, you get a whole bunch of tax breaks. And we got fantastic tax breaks. Trust me, and the system worked. No question of standing in queues, no question of this. They come to you. They come to you. And after you're done, there's an aftercare service from the RDB that takes care of you. That's how efficient they are. When I met up with Mr. Africa and Michelle, the CIO, a few weeks back, they said their focus is on taking care of the people that have already come in. I mean, that was really a nice thing. You go and host conferences across the world, you bring in new investors, but their aim is to make sure that people who've already trusted them will stay in. So from my humble $1 million commitment, we pushed to 10. We finished the Malta's The View, which is where Uche came and stayed with us. We've done our phase 1. It's like a hotel apartment complex offering fantastic services. I'm not marketing, I'm just telling you how come from a small 24 unit thing, we're going into 6 times the size next door. And the most important thing to let everybody here know is, I believe Diane, just trying to tell you, it's her daughter's birthday, but she's on this webinar. She is the CEO of BK. They funded us. You've got a business idea, it's got to fly. And if it's got to fly, you need someone to fund you locally. I was not even a resident when BK came in, gave me facilities that you wouldn't get anywhere. They sit down, they assess, they ask a lot of questions, but they gave you one questionnaire. They didn't say answer 10 and then give you another 50. No, that's how well the banking system works. The lady there being the commitment for every Rwandese who's gone through, everyone remembers 9/11, but what happened 30 odd years, 31 years back is something this country has grown on blood and ashes, and they built heaven on earth. There's no place safer on earth than Rwanda. I might get beaten up by a few of my Indian colleagues, but the fact of the matter is, you can go for a jog at 2 in the morning. A young lady can go at 2 in the morning. Everyone is safe. There's no petty crime. There's no petty corruption or any corruption. When I went to the RRA and I met, without an appointment, met one of the commissioners. And I said, he takes me out and he spends a good 10 minutes with me, then another 20 minutes with me, buys me coffee, walks me to my car, and I say, I'm amazed, nowhere in the world do you have such a big man walking you to your car. He says, I need to show you something. And he says, we are here to serve. We are grateful you've come in here with your investment. They make you feel special. So this is what they do. Everyone keeps telling you, we've got to come back. Western media, we've got to give back to Africa. What give back to Africa? Africa has only given everybody on earth. So the reason of people saying, come and invest in Africa, no. Africa is doing everybody here, especially Rwanda, is doing everyone here a favor by saying, come in, best business practices, we'll open every door for you. Please pay your taxes, because we don't have all the resources that most of Africa's got. Please pay your taxes, and you'll be treated with the highest amount of dignity, and law works in the country. So this is where I'm trying to tell you that everything here, I've written down here, you won't find a piece of paper there, because the president himself, they go every 4th Saturday, and they make sure everything is clean there. And if cleanliness is not next to godliness, then I don't know what is. So you're safe, it's clean, the systems work. And if people don't come to the fastest growing economy with, when I say zero corruption, I believe it's got no corruption. They say we're second to Botswana. I'm a resident of Botswana as well, but I don't think it's a fair comparison. The system works. People ask, you know, after so many years, what's going to happen? Our president has put up the systems that work. So whoever comes in or out, the systems will work. And I'm letting everybody here know that if you don't come to Happy Kigali, you're missing an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm happy to answer any questions when we are asked. And it's so nice to see all these panelists here. Thank you, Doctor, because we all need inspiration and from the heart and spirituality. Very grateful for that. And I think I've done my little bit here. One thing that Uche said is there's a few million people. It's 530 million people around us. So the market opens to a third of Africa if you set up your manufacturing there. If you do anything you want, whether you bring in $1 or you bring in $10 million or $100 million, you're treated with respect and dignity. Foreigners are treated with a lot of love, welcoming. There's no, I've not had one unpleasant moment. And I've been there for 8 years, on and off. Every few months you come back, you'll find a change only for the better, whether it's systems, new roads, everything. You go to the government, they're there to help you out. So welcome to Kigali, and this is an opportunity that the lovely Rwandans are giving us with a smile to come in the fastest growing economy and feel pride, feel a lot of pride in doing something for a country that's taken care of itself, by using their own hands and their legs. And absolute shout out to the leadership and every system that they've built. Thank you very much again, Uche, for inviting me to have this conversation. And you are a pioneer, my friend. All of you welcome to come and stay at Amalta's. He's helping us rent and sell from there. We partnered with these gentlemen there. So you're most welcome to come in. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vinay Palaparti, for that very inspiring and insightful speech that you just gave. And clearly it was coming from the heart. And we can tell that you have truly found a home in Kigali, Rwanda. As I mentioned earlier, I had the pleasure of living in Rwanda for 4 years in the mid 2000s. And I can attest to the fact that I did go for runs and walks in the evening and had no issues, and definitely had a great time. It's a super safe place. And I think more importantly, it's a really great case study that you've exemplified in your speaking by showing that Rwanda is ready for business, that there are structures in place, and that the government and the leadership is doing a fantastic, excellent job at ensuring that Rwanda is positioned for commercial and entrepreneurial success. So thank you so very much for that. And we look forward to staying at your real estate developments in Kigali. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Let's give Vinay Palaparti a virtual clap. I know we can't all clap, but please use the clapping emoji and show him some appreciation for that very heartfelt speech that he just gave. I'm definitely learning a lot from all of the panelists. So fantastic job to City Square Africa for doing such a good job at picking them out. So earlier I introduced or spoke about, and also let's wish happy birthday to Diane Karusisi's. We appreciate you being with us today, regardless of it being her birthday. So everybody just put happy birthday to her in the chat. Hope she has a lovely day. So we're going to go straight into the panel session, which is entitled Co-Ownership, Investment, and Sustainable Tourism in Kigali. I'm going to invite each panelist to answer specific questions based on their area of expertise, and then we will build the conversation from there. There will be opportunities to ask questions in a Q&A format, so please make sure that you use the Q&A chat box if any questions arise. So my first question is to you, Dr. Diane Karusisi, CEO of the Bank of Kigali. We've heard our speakers talk about how Kigali is ready for investment and how easy it is to run a business in Kigali and Rwanda at large. From your perspective, what are the key factors contributing to Rwanda's rapid economic growth, and how have business-friendly financial and digital policies played a role in attracting investors to Kigali?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me join this panel. I'm very happy to be part of all these people, and I think Vinay said it all. Leadership is everything, and especially now, in this day and age, we see what's happening around the world. Leadership is everything. So we are blessed to have great leadership that has a clear vision. And all of us Rwandans have embraced the vision of our leadership, and we are moving together. So the president said it very well. He wants Rwandans to be united, which he's managed to do after very tragic past. He wants us to work hard, and we are decent people. We have to work hard. He wants us to be accountable, and that's how the zero tolerance to corruption comes in. And he wants us to think big. So we are ambitious people. So because of that, I think we have all the ingredients to just have an economy that is well run. The main, I would say as an economist, having political stability, macroeconomic stability are critical. Because as an investor, what you want is to have some predictability into the future. You don't want to, be caught into something that will impact your investments. We have also very much policy stability. So today, if Vinay is able to tell everyone that you can repatriate your profits, we want you to know that in 10 years, it will be the same. You can always repatriate your profits. We don't want people to be stuck here when they've brought investments. So policy stability, political stability, and macroeconomic stability are key. And probably my colleague who's from RDB will talk about it, is business-friendly policies. So we want to make it easy for people to do business and to make money, because we believe stability is great, but people make a living from revenues that they've earned from their work. So we want people to invest, we want people to create businesses. Not only Rwandans, we also welcome foreigners who want to create value in our country. So that's what we do. As a banker, we welcome everyone. We have clients, including Vinay, that comes to us. Vinay came to us. He had a fantastic project. We wanted to be part of this success, and we opened our doors, and we are very happy to be part of the success. So what I would say is that stability is critical, but we have a mindset that is really a success mindset, as the earlier speaker was presenting. We want to succeed, to get together as Rwandans. So that's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that. We're very excited to hear that the Bank of Kigali is, investing in businesses that are viable, and great to hear that all Rwandans and Rwandese people are following the leadership examples being set right at the very top. So thank you for that. I'd love to move over to Darius Kiza, who is part of BK Capital. Could you speak to us a little bit about which sectors are currently witnessing the most investment activity in Kigali, and maybe speak about the kinds of returns or growth that should new investors realistically expect? I think he might need help being muted and unmuted. So tech team, if you could help with that. Because while we wait for that to happen, let me then move on to you, Irene, from a tourism perspective. Could you speak to us about the kinds of tourism attractions within Kigali and Rwanda that you would want the world to know about? For example, if one wants to invest within the tourism sector, what kind of ideas or perspective would you like to give them? You're still on mute, so you may.
Sorry. Good evening again, everyone. It's a pleasure to join you all today. I'd like to thank Dr. Uche and the entire City Square Africa team for inviting me to be part of this important conversation. So back to your question. First and foremost, I think I need to touch upon Kigali in particular. It plays a central role in this vision. Our capital is known for safety, cleanliness. I think, I can't say it much. You guys have said it, and I'm just echoing. We're also known for connectivity, ease of doing business. When I say connectivity, is also the airlines. I don't know if you're aware, but we have Qatar now Airways, the latest addition in terms of accessibility and connectivity to our destination. So all these key factors have increasingly made Kigali a destination, a preferred destination, not only for tourism, but also MICE. When I say MICE, it's meetings, incentives, conferences, and so forth. So the strategy was first and foremost offering what we have. What we have right now and what we had in the past was the parks. We always had parks, national parks. We have the wildlife, we have the mountain gorillas. I think is one of the flagship that Rwanda holds. We do have the Nyungwe, the latest on Nyungwe. It's now considered World Heritage, on the UNESCO. We also have the Gishwati, where you find the primates. So we have a diversity of products that we can offer. But that wasn't only the strategy that we wanted to move forward. So parks were there. But beside that, if anyone had to come and visit, and you were not either having enough time to go up country to see the mountain gorillas or the wildlife, or going to Nyungwe for natural walks and so forth, what else could you have done? We started marketing the destination as MICE. How did we do that? Providing incentives. So if you were to become a delegate and you come to Kigali, first visa, around the region is free for EAC, Commonwealth and countries with the Francophonie, but then visa upon arrival as well is possible now. So we opened up, the accessibility and connectivity through different partnership with international airlines, and then we made it easier for anyone to come through. Then we provided, we invested in infrastructure. What I mean is the Kigali Convention Center right now. It's probably the one that holds the most events. It's not too far from the airport. It's accessible. We also thought of investing in hotels. If you are bringing MICE, as the next big thing in Kigali, what else do you need? Infrastructure. Then we went to restaurant and so forth. So I think in Kigali, we offer a variety of, tourism products. Either you can find cultural events in different places. We have fine dinings. We have now 5 and 4 stars hotel, the likes of Marriott. Movenpick is also opening very soon in September. And then now you will expand up country. The latest now is the investment in sports. We are doing so well in terms of national parks. We are now, recognized as the second destination, top 2 destination for MICE in Africa. Now, what else can we do? Sports. You've seen the Amahoro Stadium, the likes of 45,000 seats, the likes of Paris Saint-Germain, a stadium as well. We have the BK Arena, I think top 3 in Africa, 10,000 seats capacity. So those are the things that we are trying to bring on board. And we did not just stop at the BK Arena in terms of basketball and competitions or Amahoro Stadium. We went as far as now having a golf course, 18 holes. So those are the things that really we try to do and achieve. And I think so far it's successful. Vinay, I'm so happy to hear that your experience has been wow. You know, as the Chief Tourism Officer, it's always a pleasure to hear that not only an investor will come and love the city for different things, safety, cleanliness, the people, the warmth, but then you go beyond as far as falling in love and say, how about I make it a second home? How about I invest? I'm just amazed, and I don't think that I can ask for more. That is exactly why we work so hard, is to make it easy and efficient and convenient for anyone coming through Kigali. So without really, you know, going into details, I would like to mention the partnerships that we have, you know, the sports partnership that we have. That is the main reason why we are now investing heavily in sports infrastructure, because we want to bring it now to Kigali, you know, by signing on with Arsenal, Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, the latest Atletico Madrid, and why not NBA or NFL? Those are the things that, you know, we're now trying to see. This is the next strategy. Let's invest in sports. It brings everyone. The theme today was the collective, you know, advantage. I think, you know, sports will bring any person, any country together, you know, for celebration. So that is exactly what we are trying to achieve. And so far, so good. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Irene, for that. You know, as a Chief Tourism Officer at the Rwanda Development Board, I'm sure it brings joy to your heart to see that the work that you've been putting in has indeed been fruitful for people like Binay and many others. And I think I'd also like to commend you, because you know we see Visit Rwanda everywhere on the international stage, and I think it's probably the first. You're probably one of, if not the first, African country to have you know, sort out those kinds of partnerships on a global level. So congratulations to you on that. I would love to see if Darius is back with us. If not, I will move on to Darius. Are you here with us? Okay,
Yes,
fantastic.
sure. Thanks. Yeah.
It's great to have you with us. Thank you for joining. You are the head of business and development at BK Capital, and you essentially lead strategic initiatives to grow the firm's client base and as well as drive impact. Would love to know which sectors are currently witnessing the most investment activity in Kigali, and what kinds of returns or growth should new investors realistically expect?
Thank you. Yeah, well, Rwanda is one of the unique places, I think, on earth where things work. And if you look at all sectors from real estate, construction, it's one of the leading, I think, sectors that are growing because of the way Kigali is positioning itself as an urban center. It's very affordable places that you can live comfortably and have a good life. I think the real estate is one of the places or sectors that are really growing, and there's a lot of demand for residential, commercial infrastructure. So that sector is doing well. Another place I think which is really also growing is the tourism and hospitality sector, because Rwanda is positioning itself as a place to go for meetings, for conferences, for exhibitions. It is the leading destination, I think, currently, and that sector is doing well. You also see the financial sector, financial services, fintech sector gaining traction. I think Rwanda is positioning itself as a financial hub in Africa. So the financial sector is doing fantastic. And the other sectors which are also doing very well are agribusiness and food processing. Rwanda is doing well in food security and value addition because of its strategic position It is a very attractive sector with high returns. And one of the other sectors I think which are doing fantastic is renewable energy and green technology. We're trying to reduce carbon emission, and there's a lot of investment opportunities in the renewable sector, energy, and so all these sectors are attractive for investors looking for short-term, long-term investments, and the attractive returns to the tune of about 13% on annual returns in, I think, all these sectors across board. So Rwanda, everything works. I like to say we carry this phrase which says Rwanda works. You can find all these, depending on, of course, investor to investor, all investors, I think all sectors within the ecosystem are performing pretty well. And Rwanda is a unique country where you have zero tolerance to corruption. So you can expect your investment to really perform to a very great deal. So thanks. I can go on and on, but whether in education, in agriculture, in financial service sector, in tourism, real estate, all sectors are really performing impressively. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I love that Rwanda works. And I saw a bunch of people in the audience loving that you said that as well. I think one thing that's definitely resonating from all of our speakers so far is the pride in which you carry your country, which I think is something quite commendable. So thank you so much, Darius, for that. I'd love to move on to Ronald Kabagambe, who is the investment marketing analyst at the Rwanda Development Board, RDB, and also representative of the Chief Investment Officer. So Ronald, from your perspective, how does Rwanda's current monetary and fiscal policies impact investor decisions, especially for long-term real estate and tourism investments? You're still on mute. If you could unmute yourself, please.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here and give my contributions as someone in the investment office. Investment reform, we tried to put in investment reforms that attract investments. For instance, we have the investment code or investment law in place that gives different incentives in different sectors, including the real estate. We have physical incentive like the corporate income tax exemption. If you want to make Rwanda a head office of your investment or a regional office, we exempt corporate income tax, and our corporate income tax is 28%, so that is exempted. And when you are exempted from the corporate income tax, so you're also exempted from the withholding tax. We also provide as RDB non-physical incentives, but before that, we also have a 7-year tax holiday for investors investing in priority sectors that Darius have talked about, including the real estate. So if you, my investor who is bringing in at least $50 million US, we give you a corporate income tax exemption of 7 years. That's one. So basically, our tax regime enables or is very favorable to our our investors, because we have a window to periodically review the tax regime to make sure that our investors are not frustrated by tax. That's what I can say. Another thing, you have had at least a good testimony from Vini. When he was coming in, the plan was to invest $1 million US, but after talking to him, I ended up investing 10 million. So that time we had what we called the Build and Manufacture to Recover program, where we would provide import duty on construction materials. It is still there. The case is that we can, if you feel that the regime or the tax, the tax that is in place is not favorable, you can come to us and then we negotiate and see how to really assist you.
Thank you very much, Ronald, for that. You definitely reiterated, that Rwanda is open for business and that Rwanda works. So thank you so much for sharing that. I would love to move on to Mr. Edson Habineza, who is the Director General of the Rwanda Chamber of Tourism. Mr. Edson Habineza, welcome. Thank you for being with us. You're someone who is a seasoned hospitality executive with decades of experience spanning hotel operations, business management, and public sector engagement. And I'd really love to understand, as we know, cross-sector collaboration is imperative for some of these initiatives to work. And I was wondering, what are some compelling examples of successful collaboration between government, private developers, and communities in Rwanda's tourism and real estate sectors that you could talk to us about?
Very much, Cindy and Dr. Nam for organizing this webinar. It's really increasing the visibility of the country, especially the city of Kigali. And it's sometimes complicated and difficult to speak after Madam Sito has brought forward the image of the country, because she's always at the top of it when we speak about tourism and the hospitality industry in Rwanda. But as a representative of Chamber of Tourism, first of all, people should understand what Chamber of Tourism is and what it is doing for now. So Chamber of Tourism is a non-profit umbrella organization that was founded in 2006 under Private Sector Federation to promote and represent the interests of Rwanda's tourism and hospitality business community. So back to your question that you've just asked me, we've got good collaboration between private sector and public sector, especially we can't survive without Rwanda Development Board. As CTO was explaining, we have a tangible collaboration with the RDB because we have this kind of linkage that enables our associations. We've got 7 associations under Rwanda Chamber of Tourism. And these associations, we through advocacy and as well as lobbying in public sector, it can't work without Rwanda Development Board. So I salute Madam CTO because she's on top every time on top of this, and she facilitates this to happen. So let me give you a simple example, which is tangible. There is in pipeline, we've got a new draft tourism policy that is going on, but there was this consultation that's going on where the private sector federation, especially the Rwanda Chamber of Tourism associations, are giving back inputs so that when this policy is finalized, when this law is finalized, it has all included, feedbacks from the members. So this is one of a tangible example. And for instance, again, when it comes to law enforcement, they give us this flow to be included in the law enforcement so that we don't feel marginalized. And our business owners, they feel included. They feel incorporated from the starting of the law to the enforcement, as well as to the inspection. again, we say that there is this strong partnership, I can call it like the spine between that link the private sector or the Chamber of Tourism and the RDB, Rwanda Development Board across. I will be talking RDB too much because it's that's our reporting line. Let me call it so, simply because it's the link between the ministry and other stakeholders. So our voice goes through RTP. So now going back again to clarify how is the linkage and the examples I've clarified about the recent policy that's going on in the pipeline. So we are having too much involvement so that it does not affect our business owners. The investors in the hospitality and the tourism. Again, there is a new development that's going on that is eco parks. We've got 5 eco parks that are being developed in Kigali. So we were also involved. So this shows that in everything that's being developed in the tourism sector, in hospitality, we get involved. And this kind of partnership in the linkage enables our investors, our association members to feel welcomed, to feel involved, to feel valued, so that in any decision-making process, they have that word. So this kind of leadership allows us to participate and give awards and then be part of the solutions and the decisions that are being taken on us. I will not say against us, but on us. So this is what is happening in Rwanda. We feel comfortable, and mostly, as Dr. Diane said and Madam City was said, all of these are anchored in the leadership of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Kagame, and as well as the security, the safety of the country. Because like recently, if I give you another tangible example, there were regulations about operating hours. So we had to approach our DB. So the hours were stretched, to accommodate the business environment that we are in the tourism and hospitality industry. So this is the kind of advocacy that the Chamber is doing, and we are really welcomed by the government. And I think it's doing better nowadays, and I appreciate that.
Thank you so very much. I think one thing that's really evident throughout hearing everyone speak is the collaboration and the collective approach that there is between the agencies, whether it's the Rwanda Development Board, whether it's the banks or it's the tourism operators. There definitely seems to be quite a collective and collaboration between the agencies, which is fantastic to see. So my next question is for 2 people. It's for Diane Karusisi, the CEO of the Bank of Kigali, and Darius Mukiza. I'm very interested to understand a little bit more about your role and the co-ownership model that you have within the bank. And would love for you to tie it to the theme of our event, which is the collective advantage. So for those that are interested in a collective model and are on this webinar, to try and understand how they could tap into this collective advantage, could you speak to your role in the co-ownership model that we've been discussing? So Diane and Derek.
Thank you. As a bank, of course, we provide the banking services, but also custody services. So we can become the custodian of all the funds that are remitted here in Rwanda and invested into a project. Let me give you an example. If 10 people come together to buy an apartment that Vinay has built, we can get the funds together with BK Capital, we'll make sure every one who has remitted funds is sure that the funds are safe. And as a custodian, we can also share regular reports on how far the investment has gone. When there are returns, they can also be transferred into the account. And as a bank, we'll also be able, because it's one collective investment, we'll be able to distribute the returns to all the participants. So that's what we do. We do it for companies or people who buy securities on the stock exchange. We believe it's something similar. It's like private equity, but done through this collective investment scheme. So we would be able then to give the assurance that the funds are safe, the funds are used for the very purpose the people who have remitted the funds intended in the first place, and we'll also be able to make sure all the returns are credited on this account. But Darius, please.
Thank you. Yeah, so BK Capital structures and manages the investment vehicles, ensuring compliance and investor reporting. So our role basically is make sure when investors are investing, they are investing in a vehicle which is licensed, and it is has structures for investors to get their reports. And also we are making sure that we get proper due diligence on how the investment is being done and who the investors is, to ensure the proper KYC is maintained. And we also make sure that the process is seamless. We are able to put in proper infrastructures to make sure that investors can monitor the performance of their investment and also get reports when they need them. So our role basically is to be the intermediary between the investor and the vehicle they invest in, while the bank maintains the financial intermediary and custodial services, making sure they facilitate the seamless flow of the funds and the returns back to the investors. So basically that is the collaboration that we do. We manage the vehicle, the bank does the financial flows of the investment. Thank you.
Fantastic. It's really great to see, the potential partnership between City Square and the Bank of Kigali, as well as BK Capital. I think it's a fantastic initiative by City Square, and I'm looking forward to seeing the different partnerships that come out of it. So we're getting to the end of this webinar, and I would love to ask all my panelists one question before we take a couple of questions from the audience. And if you could answer this in 15 to 20 seconds or less, that would be great. So in one line, what idea or partnership would you most like to see emerge from this webinar? And I'll start with you, Irene.
Thank you for your question. Ideally, I don't know if it's partnership or collaboration. I think it's more on the awareness. You've done a good job already bringing in technology, but also making sure that parts of the world can participate. That's a plus. For me, we need more of this in terms of advocacy in investment, tourism, but not limited. I would want to hear more on conservation in my area. It's a subject that people are not very conversant with, and it has played a major part in our story in terms of being a destination for responsible tourism. I think that's pretty much what I would want to hear the next time. Have a bit of a panel that will discuss the coexistence between wildlife and human beings. The next thing will be how do we teach, or how do other, countries learn from, Rwanda? We are definitely proof of concept in terms of resilience, in terms of pushing through, although with limited resources. I believe Vinay mentioned it. He said, pay your taxes. That was a key thing. So I think we would want to see exchanges. We would want to hear from other people, but also we want people to come and learn. You know, people experience the Rwandan concept and the Rwandan model. We've made tremendous efforts in terms of just revenues, you know, in terms of positioning ourselves as the next destination for so many other things. I would also want to touch on RDB, the role of RDB, the Rwanda Development Board. We have so many hats, you know, we have investment, we have tourism, then again, the latest addition, gambling. You turn around, we have the one-stop center, you know, comprised of, you know, more than 20 institutions representing different ministries, so that when you come in, you don't have to go and, you know, struggle, you know, in registering a business, or just find a simple information. That's really my ask and perhaps my wish. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Irene. Edson, over to you. If there was one thing that you would like to see come out of this webinar, what would it be in 20 seconds or less, please?
Thank you very much, Cindy. From this meeting, I would like to at least see more investors coming to Rwanda, because you know, joining associations. I mean, our Chamber of Tourism, for instance, we've got so many projects in terms of sustainable tourism. So I would like to see more of those ideas in sustainable tourism coming into Rwanda, as Madam Sito has said. I think that's what I would like to get from this, seeing investors coming to Kigali in sustainable tourism developments. That's what I would like to get.
Thank you so much, Edson. Ronald?
So our role as the Rwanda Development Board, more so in the investment and marketing department, is to attract investments through organizing such a platforms, webinars. So what I would like to see is from this webinar is to connect with participants to pitch and talk more about the available opportunities. So I actually would ask you, the organizers, to get me a list of the participants, and whoever feels that he can reach out to RDB, you're most welcome. So I'll be glad to keep in touch with everyone here. We attract investments in all sectors. So I'm glad. If you have a question in any sector, then we can talk more.
Fantastic. I'll go over to Darius and then to Diane.
Yeah, since Parapathy is here, I would want to see more Parapathys in the future, more engagements coming from them, more of the same knocking on our doors and asking us how we can collaborate in the sectors they really love. I love that he was keen in an investment sector, and he was able to be helped. So we want more of them, more stories like that, more testimonies coming from individuals who are coming from their place of origin and coming Rwanda to find a place they long to live for the rest of their lives. So we want more testimonies like this from these engagements. So thank you very much. I hope we can get more, like 4 of his kind from such discussions. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. And last but not least, Dan, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for organizing this panel. Everyone, they've summarized what we would want to see. We want to see people visiting Rwanda, but also people taking opportunity, an economic opportunity of what Rwanda is and presents. We want people to create wealth. and start from here. We don't want people who start with a 1 million ticket like Vinay. We want people who can even start with a $1,000 ticket and take advantage of the opportunities that we present. I'm a woman in business, so the more investments I see in Rwanda, the more opportunities I have for my business to grow. So we want to grow and to be successful all together. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
I think you forgot me.
Oh, Vinay.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I just thought I did my time. But anyway,
That's
the
all
only
right.
thing I want to say here very quickly is that come to Rwanda. We'll keep you here. Just get on a plane and come. Business will automatically follow. My statement is in Rwanda, we are doing business. So you'll miss out, guys. Just come.
Got it. I think that's definitely well understood. And thank you for that, Vinay. Very happy that you shared your perspective as well. So we are now going to take a couple of questions. And I think, the takeaway for me here is that there's many avenues to invest in Rwanda, but I think a clear one that we have identified today is to really key into the City Square Africa co-ownership investment model. It sounds like they really have their pulse on the different avenues in which folks can invest in Rwanda. So definitely looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. We already have quite a few questions, and I see that some of our panelists have already gone on to answer them in the Q&A chat. But what I'm going to do, okay, there's a question here about, so the return on investments in Rwanda. I believe this question is for you, Darius. People want to understand what percentage of returns on investment in the real estate and tourism industries. And that's from Olufemi Fayombo. So could you give an idea of percentage return that people can expect specifically in real estate and tourism? And that's for you, Darius.
Yeah, I would easily say real estate through structured debts or structured vehicles, you could earn up to 14% within 1 year, and that is the net of all fees, and it is a good return compared to the performance of the franc and the inflation rates, and so I think up to 14% is possible. Yeah.
Fantastic, 14%. Thank you for answering that. There's a question here for you, Diane. Mugisha Jean de Dieu is asking, is it possible for the new business establishments to get capital, and by which process? So in terms of access to capital for businesses that want to establish themselves or expand their business in Rwanda, what's the process of getting access to capital?
So as a bank, we provide loans mainly. I think that's the core of our business. Unfortunately, we provide loans to established businesses that have revenues, that have products and clients, not for startups. But he can talk to us if he's gone a long way already in his new business. We can see how we can support.
Fantastic. So I hope you heard that, Jean de Dieu. And let me try and see what other questions we have here. What is the minimum investment? I think Diane already answered that, from $1,000 onwards. I think there's no discrimination in terms of, what your investment can do. And I think that's also what you said, Diane, in terms of that, it's an investment like Vinay's of $1 million. Obviously, that's not within everybody's capacity. So I think you being able to say that all types of investments are welcome, I think that breaks down the barriers of entry for many. I think there's a comment here that says to add to what the CTO of the Rwanda Development Bank board has already said, is that Rwanda has also invested in human capital by developing a pool of qualified hotel professionals, ensuring that investors' capital is managed efficiently and sustainably. Because I think investment is not just from a cash perspective, it's also a human resource perspective, which is fantastic to hear. There's a question here from Herbert Ayino Mugisha, who says water recreation is more pronounced in Gisenyi and in Kibuye, which needs more hours of drive. Any plans for Lake Muhazi as a tourism and hospitality destination, thanks to its proximity to Kigali? So Irene or Edson, I think that question's for you.
Thank you for the question. I think it is definitely there. Lake Muhazi, if I'm not mistaken, has added on a boat. The boat is for, leisure, entertainment. And if we can get his contact, we're more than happy to share the information. We also know that we have good infrastructure there. We have a technology museum. I think it's worth, visiting. I'd like to emphasize that you can get any kind of information on our Visit Rwanda website, when it comes to different locations that you'll be interested in, the latest plans. I would want to shout out to the Tourism Chamber. They have a majority of tour operators and guides and different companies, promoting Rwanda and offering different tourism packages. So I'll encourage, people to also go through that. And of course, they can always reach out directly to us or to them. And we're more than happy to promote not only Kibuye or a different other region or Lake Muhazi. Why not just even Kigali if you want to get out and see the beauty outside there? Why not go further? So all that is packaged through the Tourism Chamber, but also on the Visit Rwanda. Thank you.
Fantastic. And we have one last question here from Chris Nkwaya, who wanted to ask about the sustainability part of the tourism industry in Rwanda, especially regarding the MICE industry, knowing that many materials are used only once for conferences. Is there any policies regarding the ecological part of it? So again, for Irene or for Edson. Maybe Edson can answer this one since Irene answered the previous one. You're still on mute. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much for this question, though Madam CTO would be in a good position to answer this. But however, as far as I know, that there is a tourism law regarding the ecology. In my presentation, when I was talking, I reiterated that we've got eco parks that are being developed in Kigali, 5 different eco parks in Kigali. So these will go along with the sustainability policy and law that's going to guide them in terms of long-term sustainability of these eco parks. So it goes along with, as well as with the MICE, because it does not take them out of this law. Though Madam Sito is going to clarify better on this, but I know it is there and it's being applied very soon. An example that I will give will, like today in all hospitality, tourism and hospitality infrastructure that are being developed are required to involve these sustainability protocols. I mean, so that we don't compromise the next generation that's going to live after us. Back to you, Madam CTO.
Thank you, Edson, and I think it's a good point. We kept emphasizing throughout this webinar that Rwanda is considered to be a responsible destination. That will definitely have a ripple effect on everything that you will do within the tourism, infrastructure or attractions. So particularly to MICE, I understand we do have events for 3 days, other for few other weeks. But at the end of the day, remember that we don't only promote, we regulate. So before even going ahead and providing the green light for an event to happen, all that is taken care and into consideration. We go back, into different requirements. We involve at times the Ministry of Environment, REMA, the agency, particularly, pushing for such a responsible decision. So I'm pretty sure that it could be maybe for small events here and there under the private sector, but when it comes to the MICE and it's an event that will happen, and we will have a number of delegates. We definitely are careful and pay attention to the different standards. Thank you.
Fantastic. So I think that brings us to the close of our webinar. We'd like to take the opportunity to thank all our speakers for their wonderful contributions. We will be hearing from Dr. Uche Nama, the CEO of City Square Africa, regarding his closing remarks. And I truly think this has been a remarkable conversation. We've heard powerful insights on Kigali's investment potential, the power of co-ownership, and the bold innovations that are shaping Africa's cities. One of the things, please do connect on, please put your LinkedIn link in the chat, explore partnerships, and help shape a truly inclusive future. It's been a pleasure moderating this conversation. I'm Lele Balde. Thank you and see you next time. And over to you, Dr. Uche Nama, CEO of City Square, to close us out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lily, for the amazing moderation. Thank you so much to all the speakers. Freddie, you're a good, very good ambassador of Rwanda. Freddie is also a partner. We are actively pushing Amalta's view. So it's a pleasure to have all of you. Dr. Diane, Darius from BK Capital, Madam Irene, CTO, Edson, DG, and Ronald. It's been an amazing session, and I thank you all. And the major call to action here is to be part. I want to encourage the attendees to be part of this co-ownership model. It's a journey that we promise to be very exciting, very transparent, very credible, and we're excited to build this wealth with you together. We have posted a link on the chat room so that anyone who is interested can also fill the form, and we can contact you for more details. It's important to understand that wealth is better created together and easier. This will in turn reduce your financial stress and reduce your burnout, and you become a happier person, and also leave something for your children as you pass on. It is a difficult journey to go alone, and that's why we encourage you to join the co-ownership model. Thank you once again for being part of this event, and we look forward to hearing from all of you, and also joining us in October for the visit to Kigali. Because in Africa, people believe that seeing is believing. So we're also inviting you to join us on this trip so that you can see for yourself what we are talking about Kigali and Rwanda, what it has to offer. Thank you and have a pleasant evening.